Welcome back, everybody. Dronetek here, and I have something very different and interesting for you today. If you've never heard about red light therapy and the health benefits that you can get from it, then I have the perfect person to talk about it and answer all your questions. His name is Jonathan Otto, and he's an investigative journalist, a natural health researcher, and a documentary filmmaker who has 20 plus highly acclaimed docuseries to his name. Welcome, Jonathan. I just introduced you to my audience, and probably much like them, I'm kind of novice to this whole red light therapy thing. But it's funny because several months back, I walked through the living room. My wife was watching one of those housewife shows, reality shows, and they were talking about it. And I just kind of blew it off, like, whatever. And then I saw Joe Rogan talking about it. And he had discussed it with some guy, some doctor, I can't remember now, but
Gary Brecka?
Yeah,
Gary
exactly,
Brecka?
him. Yep. And then more recently, I was listening to another one of his shows, and they were talking about different therapies, and he mentioned it, and he said that a lot of UFC fighters are using it. So super interesting to me now. I'm like wondering what this is all about. I know the very basics, that it has to do with the energy that your mitochondria are putting out, and the red light can somehow stimulate a more healthy response from it. And I'm hoping you can explain all of that to my audience.
Yeah, I'd love to. And so looking forward to this, Dronetek, and thank you for having me on. I think that the awareness that's increasing is a really good thing. And it sounds at first like it's something that maybe really couldn't do that much. But on the other hand, it's surprising to think about the fact that so many people are so sold that maybe a pill in a bottle, like whether it's a supplement or whether it's a medication, that would work. But light therapies should be the first thing that people think about, because your cells are more responsive to light than anything else. And if I take this, I'm going to have to digest it, and hopefully it's going to get into my body and it's going to work. And if there's any failure point there, then I'm going to miss out on that therapy. Whereas light therapies, they shoot straight into the cells. And if your cells receive that light and they do something with it, and if that's an important function, then you may be into the holy grail. But to give you some substance behind it, the Nobel Prize was won for light therapy reversing disease in 1903 by Niels Finsen. And that was lupus vulgaris. And he showed that light therapy would reverse this condition. And then they had, between him and John Harvey Kellogg, which, not a fan in many ways, but in terms of what they did and what he knew on light therapies and other health related things, they understood some of these things really clearly. And they had tens of thousands of cases of diseases being reversed, or from cancer to autoimmune disease, with light therapies even back then, let alone the advancement in technology that we have now. That means that we can get a lot more light into the cell. And so it's exactly like you're saying about the mitochondria. Mitochondria are receiving light. So when your mitochondria are stimulated by light, they produce adenosine triphosphate, ATP. This is a fluorescent substance, by the way. So you think of phosphorus, and so something fluorescent is producing something fluorescent in your body, which is kind of cool and interesting. Other fluorescent substances that red light produces, singlet oxygen. Singlet oxygen is super lethal. You could use it in military settings, being used to shoot missiles that are airborne. So it's so weird to think about the fact that your body will produce singlet oxygen through red light. But guess what that does to cancer cells? It's amazing for, inducing apoptosis, programmed cell death. There are many amazing mechanisms why people are using this for not only the most kind of progressive and debilitating diseases, but also just for health and longevity and regeneration. So now, if you've got an issue in the body, if you put light over it, like let's say if you've got like a sprained ankle, or you've got a sore shoulder or a sore back, it's your body's giving you a clue there. There's some inflammation there, and the inflammation is actually a good thing. Even though people only talk about the bad side typically, but the inflammation is good. It's part of the healing that's necessary. And so you're getting a response from the body. But what you need to do then is help quiet down that inflammation to make it manageable, and then go after the root cause of what's causing that inflammation in the first place, which is toxicity. And there's some kind of internal toxin that's driving this, and it could be a misalignment, it could be these different things, but your cells will be able to deal with this if they have the energy, and they can then go about the repair work. And you generate more stem cells with red light therapy. It'll actually cause the regenesis of stem cells and of mitochondria. And so you'll actually replace old mitochondria with new through red light therapy. It'll activate a process called mitophagy. It'll shut down and destroy the disease mitochondria, known as senescence, cell senescence, and mitochondrial senescence. And it will destroy this and give way to the new, and you'll have healthy, vivacious mitochondria. It's just basic science, but people can say all these things, but the science speaks for itself and the clinical results speak for themselves. So let's imagine if I took red light, put it over your eyes for 3 minutes, and I did it in the morning because that's important for it to be the morning versus the evening when it comes to eyesight. Now I tested your eyesight just after putting just the light over your eyes for 3 minutes. What do you think maybe might be the difference in your eyesight? Probably wouldn't change much. It's only 3 minutes and it's only an immediate test. So that couldn't be much, right? Dronetek?
Yeah, you wouldn't think a lot could happen in 3 minutes.
17% immediately. If you're younger, 47%. And that study was the 47%. That wasn't a single session to my knowledge, but it was a very short period of time. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting because normally when you see people doing these kind of light things, whether it be like a tanning bed or something, they usually have protective eyewear. But during that interview I was telling you about, they actually talked about that, and he said, yeah, that he sits there staring at the light, and that at age 55, I think he said he was, that he can read better than he ever has. He can see small text, whereas I'll tell you right now, I have trouble with that. It's crazy because I've always had great eyesight, but I have trouble reading really small stuff. I found that really interesting. And you mentioned cancer. I've read that actually cancer patients, when they use this red light therapy, a majority of the time they have positive results from that, right?
Yeah. So absolutely, they are getting all kinds of fascinating results, and I can show these in some clinical studies. It's definitely one where if you've got a loved one fighting cancer, or somebody that you feel like is at risk for cancer based on other factors, maybe like autoimmunity is a massive cancer for cancer risk. Or let's say people are kind of buying into the story around genetics. It's not really true, but it certainly is a disposition, and you may have similar parent habits to your parents. So therefore that factor would be one. Here's a prostate cancer study. I'll show you this on screen. Let's have a look at this. You can let me share. This is published in Lancet Oncology. You got me? Tell me if you see it.
Yep, I got it.
Great. So look at this. So this is 413 participants. And this is, as you can see here, published in the Lancet Oncology. It found that 49% of patients treated with VTP, this is a form of red light therapy, went into complete remission compared to the 13.5% in the control group. So
that's wild.
It's a 400% increase.
Yeah,
it's a 2-year study, 413 participants there.
Yeah, that is crazy. And so what is it that causes this effect? What is it about the light? Because I know, everybody knows sunlight, right, is good for you. Is it something like that?
Well, yeah, you know that sunlight's good for you, but a lot of people think it's bad. It has similarities to the sun. It's definitely it is kind of borrowing from the sun, but it's pushing it to make it much closer to the body and much higher irradiance. So it's kind of like you're taking the sun and you're taking the most healing properties of the sun. You're actually taking out anything that could be negative. And then because what happens with red light therapy, you can repair sun damage with red light therapy. It's the best thing to do if you have sun damage. So that gives you a clue that it's kind of like taking what I would say God has made with sunlight, but then making it, in a sense, just perfectly viable for the body in a controlled setting. And so the mechanism is through this reactive oxygen species. So when light is stimulating the body to produce so it's electromagnetic waves. They're going through the body to cause the cells to produce reactive oxygen species like singlet oxygen, and then these oxygen species will go and target cancer cells and cause apoptosis. You'll see this continually when you read the studies. There's many functions happening at once, where it's also regulating all different hormonal processes. So you'll have a big increase in testosterone. Some studies showing a 270% increase in testosterone with red light therapy. I'm getting you excited because
Yeah,
these are
well,
all things.
like why take testosterone if you can do this?
Exactly, because exactly because you're kind of like artificially propping up your body, making your body rely on something, and
Right.
then and now you're a risk if you can't get that medication anymore, then you're going to be in trouble. So yeah, these are examples here with lung cancer. This was photodynamic therapy, so you take a substance like a cumin that's photosensitive from turmeric or methylene blue or berberine, and then you take the light at the same time, and that's photodynamic therapy. It proved an alternative for palliative chemotherapy. So it's achieving a nearly an 87% overall response from lung cancer patients, and it's improving the patient quality of life. You could see this was a 40% reduction here in an anti-breast cancer study in both triple negative and non-triple negative breast cancer origin cell lines. And 24 hours after the light is shone on the tumor, in this case, it was taken, it's an in vitro study, so it's human cell lines, but in a petri dish, it was a 40% reduction in cell viability. That was in 24 hours at 660 nanometers. There's only that wavelength they tested for. There's only one that could do that.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
This one, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's what are you gonna say?
so it seems pretty amazing. So what are there studies out there? Are there a lot of studies out there about this?
Oh yeah, millions. Like if you put into Google Scholar red light therapy, you'll see millions of search results. So like there are at least hundreds of thousands of studies, but like the search results will give you kind of all these different parameters whereby you can find aspects of those studies that are most valuable for you to understand like how this would work for you in this or that condition. Now, in this case, the internet is your friend, Google is your friend, and ChatGPT is your friend. Everyone, like if you are living in this world today and you have not put a condition that you're struggling with and red light therapy next to the condition you're struggling with into ChatGPT or Google, you are missing out, because once you do that, you'll see what I'm saying is true. And it's so diverse that of the 75,000 different diagnosed conditions that exist today, you'll see studies on everything. When I say everything, I mean like let's imagine that you don't have a study in your exact condition. You'll see a study in something very similar, and that gives you enough indication, because remember these existed first because some people were the first to do it with that condition. It's not about treating the disease; it's about helping the body achieve wellness. This one was here's a blockbuster. This, you could see the PubMed if you're used to like kind of flicking through these journals. I'm not saying that everyone here has to be bona fide researchers, but that's PubMed. Look at this. This is a cutaneous B-cell lymphoma study that was published in 2006. It's a pilot study. 3 participants, all treated patients had complete remission, defined by as a clinical and histologic complete absence of cutaneous B-cell lymphoma after a maximum of 2 photodynamic therapy sessions at a 1-week interval. No patient experienced any particular side effects. The pain was easily managed after the PDT sessions. That was 630 nanometers. It was using a photosensitizer called aminoleuvolinic acid. And that was the 3 for 3. And the time period is the weirdest part. It was a 1-week interval. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm not saying, I don't think that anyone should expect that result. I'm not saying that people can do anything. I'm just reading studies. So don't shoot the messenger.
Right. And yeah, because what you're telling me here makes me wonder why like every hospital you go to doesn't just have, because it seems like it'd be pretty easy to set up a light array there that just shines red light on patients that are recovering. Because what's the harm, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no harm. Just
that
it'll
makes me
just help them.
wonder,
Like
like, why aren't they doing that? It's just such an easy
well,
thing.
it's just because they don't get money from people getting their cancer better. They get money from people dying and slowly and paying between 300,000 to 1.3 million dollars on their chemo, surgery, and radiation. And you'd say, no, people don't have to pay 1.3 million dollars. Yes, they do. They just pay 10% of that, and that can wipe them out. And because it's covered by insurance. But and this is like, I could be helping every neighbor, anyone. Like, I've got one device is used for like 30 minutes a day. So do the math on how one device, how many people it could help. You could, and in some cases, these conditions, like they didn't even keep using it. It's best to keep using it because you don't want to keep waiting for it to come back.
Mhm.
Um, and here's a 60 to 90% effectiveness rate on the lymphoma, cutaneous lymphomas. And this was from the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation. Look at these before and afters. This is the photodynamic therapy. This is 2 sessions of the methyl aminolevulinic acid here. And there's the before and after with the, I mean, this is a lymphoma. That's like that's a blood cancer.
Hey,
They kill people. And and now you know. And so melanomas, so anything where the red light therapy is significantly slowing the tumor growth and boosting immune cell activity without causing skin irritation. Glioblastomas, these are aggressive brain tumors. It's helping these photosensitizers. Okay, so when you take methylene blue or curcumin, it'll actually absorb into the tumor cells as well as the healthy cells. Then it's going to increase the absorption of light into those tumor cells, and then then the light will activate those compounds that are in that substance, like curcumin, methylene blue, in the cancer cell itself. And so then that will target the residual glioblastoma cells in the area not amenable to surgery.
hmm.
And then and it can, reduce here, it appears to prevent permanent neurological deficits and reduce post-treatment hemorrhage and sepsis. Okay, and hair loss. Who's where the guys and the girls losing their hair that don't want that to happen. I don't know anyone that's looking forward to that. So this was 24 men. 83% of them reported satisfaction with their hair growth results. It was 10 minutes, 14 weeks. They only did that for 14 weeks, and so 83% of them were saying that they were really happy with their hair growth results. But like, the problem with these studies is that they only put it over their head. What would happen if they put it over their heart and their eyes and their thyroid and their heart and, sorry, I think I said heart, their kidneys and their liver? You would get much better results. Hence why do a full body panel. Don't just spot treat something. It's like somebody going to the gym and saying, I just want to lose this belly fat, and they're just doing crunches the whole time, but they should do some cardio. They should do some other things. They should strengthen their arms. It's spot losing weight doesn't really work, nor does it work. It works enough. So 83% of them were happy, but I'm saying that, there's a reason why that's not 100%. It's just because they're not doing the study right.
Hey.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
84 days here, the crow's feet. That's pretty awesome, considering that you may not even care about your crow's feet, but you just end up getting rid of it because you were doing it
Yeah,
to
I know
deal with
a
other
lot of
issues.
people. My audience are into collagen, and I know
Yeah,
that part of this process is collagen production, correct? And so that's going to help
yeah,
make your
you
skin just look
understand.
better in general.
Exactly. And then, so you're increasing collagen production in the skin. And so think about all the money that you're spending on your collagen products and your hair products and your oral health products and your um, hormone products and your eye health products. And you'll find that these are scoring in all these different fields because you have mitochondria in all these essential organs. And then your red blood cells don't have mitochondria, but then when your organs are all functioning properly, then all these other problems go away. And so you're able to deal with everything. Here's an example here with asthenozoospermia, so
Yeah.
infertility with men. And so they're seeing dramatic results. Look at how happy these guys are. They're just stoked. Just kidding. That's just a stock image. But there's the clinical study. Oh man, why are
I'm
we
super
cracking up
excited.
about that?
Yeah, 850 millimeter. What is that? NM.
Yeah,
850
nanometers.
wavelength. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. They're stoked about their red light over their testicles and being able to give their wife a baby. Good for them. But no, they're just stock images. But these guys that are actually in this study were stoked about that, from the University of Medical Center of, try and say that word, Ljubljana. So
Yeah.
Well, so these are the wavelengths that were used.
That's the sound I make when one of my kids hits me in the nuts.
Oh, there you go. At least you're not swearing at them. I
Right.
mean, that's good. That's good. So these are see this whole thing of reactive oxygen species. They're activated by light. Methylene blue would do that. You got to be careful with methylene blue. It's synthetic. Yeah, people should not take that every day. If they're dealing with a chronic condition, yeah, I get it. Like that kind of makes sense for a time, but then you want to get off that kind of stuff. And if you do it, you want to do it periodically versus all the time. And then I would say people should not do methylene blue at all unless they're using red light therapy, because the downside of a synthetic product like that is outweighed. Whereas if you're activating it with light, the benefit in how it can help kill tumors or remove inflammation and oxygenate the body is so much greater. So yeah, berberine is a photosensitizer, so people can use all these properties. Curcumin is a photosensitizer, so you can take these types of things in your body. Chlorophyll, riboflavin, artemisinin, sweet wormwood. That's the Nobel Prize was won for that, alongside ivermectin. Ivermectin is actually connected. It's derived in connection to sweet wormwood, green tea, berberine. These all work really well. These and yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Artemisinin is amazing post like for cancer treatment um, with red light. But this is an example here of this woman here where her daughter, has a stroke when she's giving birth to her. Here's Leah. She's 9 years old now after a stroke when she was born, and she describes herself there as a normal child, and she's very coherent and just this happy child that is telling about how she's now has friends and she can connect and her test scores are normal. And so this president here, she references how they uh, published their results in the British Medical Journal. So just think about the fact if you had a 9-year-old child that really had very limited social abilities and low test scores and what their future looked like, and then 3 months into red light therapy, she's a different person telling the story of how she used to get bullied because she was different, and now she's got complete social ability and normal test scores. Traumatic brain injuries, this was only 3 times a week for 6 weeks, and then they've got better sleep, they've got fewer symptoms of PTSD, and so they've got better executive function, and they're performing better with memory tests. Look at this. This is I won't say the condition here, but I will show the downflow. This is inflammation of the conjunctiva and mucous membranes. So you see your dad or your mom, or it could be anyone, could be you, could be me, could be our children, but you could see someone like that, you kind of think, oh, like they just got something weird in their eye, they're just going to live like that, too bad. But this was after 2 sessions, and look at his eye.
Jeez.
And
Wild.
and he's he gives me the look that he's complying with certain things, so we may have some ideas of what might have caused that. So he's a law-abiding citizen. So he's better. Let's help everyone. So yeah, lots of amazing things. This was look at that. That's the 17% improvement in eyesight with 3 minutes. This was 670 nanometer light, and that was a single exposure that lasted a week. So you could get 17% eye improvement that would last a whole week. You'd say, well, that sounds like a mirage. Like, why'd it go away? Well, the answer is because you only did 3 minutes once, and your eyes need light. And so you've got to think about that. It's kind of like, I only drank 1 glass of water and I only lasted, 5 days and then I died. Well, you needed to drink more than 1 glass of water. You need to kind of drink it, maybe every day. And same thing with red light. If you do that, then you could get much more than 17%, and you could, you could have that treatment last, so that when you're off it, like the tinnitus study showed that it was effective for 3 months, and one study showed 100% resolution of tinnitus. And it lasted 3 months. And so that would mean that if somebody really wanted to do it that way, they could get rid of tinnitus and then let it come back and then get rid of it again by just doing another treatment, or they could stay more consistent. Hence why, at least do red light therapy once a week. And see, the reason why it's working for eyes is because it's working with these channels. These are to do with cellular respiration. It's cytochrome C oxidase and nitric oxide signaling. And so that's why the eyes will get better. It's also why your whole body gets better. And
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, you can ask me as
So
many questions as you want.
well, I've noticed that there's different wavelengths here,
Yeah,
nanometer wavelengths. Is
yeah,
that like, do you tailor that to whoever's using it depending on what
yeah,
they're working with?
exactly. Yeah. So okay, so this is a really good thing to think about, right? So if you go out in the sun, you're getting full spectrum, you're getting everything, and a sunrise and a sunset, you're getting all the red part of the sun. So notice your body's biologically designed for red light twice a day, right? If people can't see that we're made to be in connection to the world that we live in, then I don't think there's much hope I have in convincing anyone of anything. So you're made for that, and it's full spectrum, which means that you're getting all the wavelengths. And so then you'd say, okay, well then shouldn't we use an incandescent or halogen bulb so we can get all of the light spectrum? And the answer to that is, okay, that would be good, but the problem with that is that the irradiance, the amount of power delivered is so much lower. It's because 90% of the power is going into heat and only 10% is going into the light. Whereas with LED, 90% is going into the light, 10% is going into the heat. So the irradiance is as much as 10 times more. Okay. So now you've got to choose wavelengths. So you've got to choose which ones that would be best. And they've got to be between this 600 to 1100 mark. And that's the optical window, because that's where you're dealing with all these properties that influence the mitochondria. And so now the best thing to do is to then put multiple wavelengths so that you can interface with all these areas of the body, because even though this worked for this condition, this worked for this condition, this worked for this condition, etc., well, do you want any condition in the future? What if you don't have any conditions? Then what do you do? Well, you would want to do kind of like everything, except for the fact that you won't. But if you go with a halogen or incandescent bulb, you'll just get 10 times less the irradiance. So why not get a full spectrum and then interface with each of these areas of the body at the same time? And then you're able to harness that. So look at all the studies. We were using all the wavelengths that we put out in our devices. How cool is that? So you just turn it on and you're getting all the wavelengths at the same time. And look at how 480 it's actually a blue light, not like the LED bulbs in people's homes that are causing eyesight issues. They're flickering constantly. They're causing damage. These are non-flicker LEDs. So it's a light emitting diode that works just like a laser. Super safe, doesn't cause those issues, only gives benefits. All those studies I read were all on LEDs. So it shows you the benefit. So 480 is getting through the epidermis toward the dermis. 590 is getting through, just touching into the dermis. 630 is getting through, getting close to the subcutaneous tissue, as is 660, 670 is just getting through it. 810, these are all near infrared. You can't see these. If you had a light on that had near infrared, you would not be able to see any of these lights. So you'd just be sitting in there feeling a little bit of warmth. And so here you've got it going into through the subcutaneous tissue to the muscle, getting towards the bone. Here touching on you're getting through the bone with 1060. And these are kind of rough. Like I would say that all these 800s are all getting into the bone. They're all getting into the interior tissues and the muscle, but 810 and 1060 is deeper. And so like here's some examples here, Dronetek, you'll love this. So weight loss, yes, it does work for weight loss, and it is amazing for weight loss. It's getting used instead of liposuction. People are losing inches in single sessions. I'm not exaggerating. Yes, it's
Could use
melting
that.
fat cells. It's really cool. It's melting fat cells. It's reducing swelling. So the weight that you think is just maybe, I don't know, you're just used to it. It's just, you think it's just fat or something like that, but it's actually to do with toxicity, and it's often to do with water retention, and it's a form of edema, swelling. So if you could deal with that toxicity, like for example, red light therapy is proven to work and be effective against the Bothrops asper snake envenomation. So if you got envenomated by a snake, one of the best things to do is get in front of red light, because it's going to reduce something called myotoxicity, which is toxicity caused by venoms or medications like statins. And it's going to reduce the edema and the swelling. And the same thing is true. Like people that are carrying weight are often, they're just dealing with toxicity, and you can't get rid of a lot of these toxins. And so like anyone watching this that's been kicking themselves all their lives because of their weight issues, like it's just not right. It's not fair that this has happened to you. And it's in almost all cases, it's not your fault as well. And so you could deal with that issue by getting the toxins out at a cellular level, and you will lose a lot of weight in a short period of time. The study done on that was only a 5-week study. People lost 5 inches. across the body just by adding in the red light. So anyway, fat burning, cellulite reduction, metabolism, anti-aging, acne, scars, rosacea, hair growth. But you see the different wavelengths working for different conditions: sun damage, wrinkles, fine lines, droopy eyelids, under eye circles, broken capillaries, pain relief, wound healing, injury healing, oral health, muscle building, athletic performance, post-recovery workout, and mental stamina, cognitive performance, asthma, depression, anxiety, tinnitus, arthritis, multiple sclerosis. Look, I would go on for days. There's no way for me to cover all this. We just took some big hitters that people are familiar with: stem cell regeneration, Parkinson's disease, hypertension, liver function, breast cancer. But like, certain ones are proven, certain ones aren't. So that's the upside in having all the key wavelengths: fertility and sperm mobility, herpes, cold sores, general other simplexes, eye health. So 670 worked, but so did 660, but so did 850, and so did 1060. And ideally, when you're using all these different wavelengths, you're going shallower in the eye, deeper in the eye, and you're activating these critical processes, the cytochrome C oxidase and the nitric oxide signaling. You're activating them at different depths within the eye. Acne, circadian rhythm, skin rejuvenation, autophagy, wound healing, hyperpigmentation. This is the 590 now. Collagen production. So 590 is the best for collagen, and reduces inflammation, promotes circulation, and wound healing on autophagy. So there you go. There I hit you with a fire hydrant there, Dronetek. So now I can let you come up for air.
Yeah, that's really that's also like, so if people go to myredlight.com, what are they going to find? Do you have different like units? Or I noticed a lot of these kind of that we were going through. I mean, we went through a lot of different things, the cancers, but a lot of them seem to focus on the face. So do you have like smaller units and bigger units for full body?
Yeah, exactly. So like, look at this, for example. So if people go to myredlight.com, then they can see everything that's available. So here I'm getting the full body here. I've got, this comes with a stand, which is actually really cool because it goes horizontal as well. So you can lie flat with it. See that? So
Yeah.
you can see the stand.
Yeah.
Got all my cables there on the floor. And then you've got like, so that's the RL Pro 300 Max. These other ones here, this is the RL Pro 200, and then the 100. But everything is customizable as well if you want to mess with it. So you can hit on scene, and then you can say, well, look, I just want to go with like a manufacturer's recommendation here with sleep, and so hit the sleep one, and there you got the blue lights taken out of that as one of the examples. And then joint pain. Okay, I'm going to try the joint pain setting. I'm going to try there's a pet setting. All the animal lovers in the house, get your pet in front of this. It'll like, there's not many things where it's like one ring to rule them all, where you can where like one supplement is typically only going to do one or two things, whereas this is going to do so many different things. And that's why I'm trying, like, I need to make this clear. Red light does not cost you anything. This is the easiest buying decision that anyone will ever make. It is the best investment you can make. This will cost less than a single supplement bottle. So if I took that, right? So if I bought this for $20, this supplement bottle, and that full body panel, which one's more expensive, do you think, Dronetek?
Probably the supplement. You're gonna have to take it more. You're gonna have to take more of it, and instead of the red light just helping your body to produce what you need, right?
Yes, exactly. If I've got a family of 4 and they're all on this, that's going to cost me $10,000 over 10 years, because it's well, actually, yeah. So it'd be $2,500 after 10 years. And then if it was a family of 4, which is my family, for example, so that would cost me $10,000 just for that. And what could that do for me? And so people that are very short-sighted, they go, oh, look at that. They don't understand that they've got something that is to treat them for the rest of, forever. And because they've got 50,000 rated lifespan hours, which is a lifetime. It's more than a lifetime. And even with a whole family using it. So people need to know that it's very important, because you need to invest the right way in your health. Otherwise you just end up spending more later, and it's then things, and at that point things are not good. And like, if you're going for a kidney transplant, then everything's expensive, but it's not good either. So it's not like you got more for spending everything, or it's not like you got more because you had to then pay so much for all this chemo and all these things. But as well, people can do payment plans, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. So it literally can just cost you that $50 a month, easy. And then at the end of it, instead of not having anything left, I've got a supplement company, so I don't have a bias against supplements. I think supplements are really helpful, but but at the end of it, you then still have to keep buying. At the end of this, you got it now. Now it costs you nothing. It's free. It's like it is like a free therapy. So that's really cool. A 3-year warranty on the devices, 60-day money back guarantee. And then to answer your question, yeah, you've got like the smaller targeted devices, full body devices. Obviously, my strongest recommendation is for people to get a full body device, because then you got all your organs covered. And the study that I didn't read out, it was on long COVID, and it had 62 participants, and they all had really severe symptoms. They all got better completely better after 4 sessions. All acute symptoms went away after 2 sessions for all 62 participants within 3 days. They were 64 to 84-minute long sessions, but they were whole body, whole organ. So that was the difference, where it was hitting all their organs at the same time. And 60 out of 62 had complete recovery of all symptoms within a single week, and the other 2 got better the following weeks. But this was dysapnea, memory recall, brain fog, executive function restored, digestive issues resolved, oxygen levels were high without supplementation in the blood. And I think I might have said digestive issues resolved, and emotional deficits resolved. So like that then connects to depression, anxiety, and these types of things. The other things that people can do is even get a belt. Like I'm going to put it up to its highest setting at L4 here and level 4. And then you could strap this anywhere. So it's a really great tool as well. So like you could be sitting here working, you'd have it under your shirt. So I wouldn't even know that I'm getting red light therapy while I'm on a Zoom call or watching TV. And so it's a game changer. And people don't realize that with something like this, you're getting red light into the body. So it's not just for the area that you're treating, like a sore back or you're putting over the liver or the heart. It's getting throughout the body, even though but there's still a reason to get it directly over the organs, because the intensity is greater, but this will go throughout the body as well. And that's why people are using this for chronic fatigue syndrome and neuropathy, and for other systemic issues and inflammation. And is one of the things I hear first from people with this is that their happiness levels, like their depression levels, go down. And so I wouldn't have expected that with a belt, but it works. So man, it's one of the most fulfilled I've ever been in my career, and I've done a lot of things. Getting people better is awesome. Like when I go on shows like this, you test me on this. I will be the guest of all guests you've ever had talking on health. They get the most amount of results from the people that are your listeners. That is happening across the board. And the only way somebody could beat me is if somehow there was somebody that had better red light products than me. But we've tested everything. And so we've got the highest irradiance coming out of our devices. So the highest amount of power, it's at 205 milliwatts per centimeter squared at 3 inches, is about that far. That's outperforming the $150,000 Nova Thors that are in the clinics. It's a higher irradiance. So it can be tested with meters. And there's an example of a meter to test safety. So look, I'm going to put that over my computer. 10 reading. It's off the scale there. 0 reading. So you're not poisoning yourself. The safety studies are there, hence the FDA class 2 certification. Super safe. The best thing you could do, something that you could use for all your loved ones. It will supplement so many different things that you're spending money on, your hair products, your collagen products, your all different things. It's kind of bundling that all into one, and then it outperforms any one of those on those particular areas from everything I've seen in the research. Look at your product side by side against a red light therapy study, side by side against that particular benefit, like a collagen product, or just keep going through eye health product, skin health product, that you'll find the red light therapy studies are better. And then, one product for all your family members, in each of these categories. Now you're talking about, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a decade. And so again, this is how you save money, man. And you've got mitochondria in your organs that are needing help. And without that, you can expect organs to continue to get worse in their functionality, even though organs are replacing themselves every year. Generally, it different intervals, but your organs will actually be completely replaced with new cells. So you don't have a bad heart, you have a bad process. You don't have a bad set of kidneys, you have a bad process. You don't have what that needs to form new and healthy tissue and new and healthy cells. So just do that and watch what happens, and then you will truly regenerate, and you'll see that Wolverine is not just a fictitious story. You can actually activate that healing for yourself.
Yeah, and it's like you said, if you do take supplements, if you do any of that stuff, any other product, you're not going to have to do that. It's so easy. I love that you can just set up like you have right now, set up while you're working and you're getting therapy. It's
Yeah.
super easy. And you just do that all the time. Like you said, a lot of these studies that people are just doing the therapy temporarily. And you're like, why stop? Just keep doing it. So
Yeah.
whatever, that happens doesn't come back. And
And
you
it's
you
better to
had
be closer,
mentioned,
just so you know, Dronetek. It's better to be closer. So I'm not being a good
Mhm.
example right now, but I don't want to be like an exhibitionist and take my shirt off and really make a point here. And but sorry, you're gonna say?
Oh no, like right, because if it's closer, the light is getting deeper, correct?
Exactly, exactly. But while I'm working, like literally, like this is where I'll just even sit this here for me for the rest of the interview, and so then I can so this is going to be great because it doesn't have to go through my clothing. Yeah.
Is that chargeable or is it
This one is
wired?
in the wall. But like the mask, for example, that's portable.
Hmm.
But the upside with as well, this particular one is in the wall. When you could have it sitting there next to the television because you don't want to do this for 5 hours a day. I actually have heard some stories. They're actually really cool.
You get
But
sunburn?
no, 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 never. I've never seen that. It's just you could have a bit of inflammation possibly if you did something like that. But I saw some recent cases where it was still the exact opposite, and they regained full mobility with something like one guy yesterday. It was actually through the flyover conservatives. They said that I was the one of all the experts they've seen that they've got the most amount of people reporting in the dramatic benefits. And this guy, actually is getting married to their daughter Avery, and he couldn't move his shoulder above here, and it was in so much pain because of an injury. And so he had it over his shoulder. He did it for like the whole day. They said, I've never even heard of people doing it that long, but he had complete mobility the next day with no pain. So that was really cool. But that was with the belt. And so I think that as well, like the belt is about half the irradiance of the full body panel. It's close to 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared at the surface. So that is a little bit more gentle as well. But yeah, it works. And that's still a very high irradiance because it's actually still even higher than devices like the Novathor. They are actually lower. Some of these $150,000 devices are lower in their irradiance, and it's there's advancements in technology, and that's what we've done as well. These are dual LEDs, so each LED has two different wavelengths coming out of it. So it means that, like, if you see in this case like 72 bulbs here, it's actually double that. So that one behind me, 288 bulbs, is 576. So because each of them have red and near infrared coming out of the same bulb, so that's a
Okay.
that's a really really big kind of high concentration over your vital organs. As well, when people check out at myredlight.com, they need to use the code Dronetek. So just put that in. So you can spell this Dronetek for us, brother.
Yeah, so yeah, it's Dronetek, and he also mentioned that you have a payment plan. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend if you guys want to support this channel and try something that could really help you out, you can go to myredlight.com, check out the different options you have. You got a payment plan, and then just use the coupon code Dronetek, Dronetek, and you get 10% off. Correct?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Exactly, which is a big saving. And exactly, the payment plan is a great way to do it. And then on the other hand, by some people like, yeah, no, they've got their cash and available, and so use it, and it's great. Even whatever it is, like whether you use credit cards. I mean, everyone uses credit cards now, but you just make make an
Anymore.
investment, and then but measure it in your mind against the usage of it. And you've got 60 days as well. So then use it for 60 days, see if you like it, see if it helps you as much as we're saying. And it's a no questions asked money back guarantee. So
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to try it because I'm still heavy here, but I have a
you look great.
workout schedule. And yeah, and I just I feel like, hey, why not try that? Just add it to what I'm already doing, and you mentioned that people are feeling less depressed, which doesn't surprise me because a lot of the reason people are depressed is because they're not doing anything healthy. They have unhealthy habits, and that when you feel bad, it just makes you depressed. When you start working out, you start feeling better. Your body is producing everything it needs to produce. You're gonna feel happier.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything, man. The thyroid function getting corrected. that's going to improve your happiness. Your brain cells getting light to promote neurogenesis, that's going to make you happy. Your light over your gut, fueling the microbiome so that it can make serotonin, is going to make you happy. So there's so many, getting toxins out of the body is going to make you happy. Increasing your testosterone is going to make you happy. Do you see what I'm saying? There's so many
Absolutely.
reasons, and there's
Yeah.
not one thing that makes you feel happy. It's so many of these things coming together, and you really owe it to yourself. It's just like, that's the gift that you can give yourself. And there's always a way. And that's what I've always had, that philosophy. There's always a way to make it happen, make it work. And so I'm just, so excited about that, Dronetek. And I appreciate you having me on, man. I think, I know that this is going to make a huge difference for a lot of people that really need help right now. And that's what, gives me the fulfillment to do this work. And so, thanks for the time and the opportunity to share.
Oh yeah, you're very welcome. And yeah, it's just, to me, it seems like it's something that easy that people can do, and you got a 60-day money back guarantee. Why not give it a shot? It sounds like from a lot of these studies that you start to see benefits pretty quickly. So I think it's worth people at least giving it a try.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Bless you, man. And so guys, you can head over to myredlight.com and use the code Dronetek when you're checking out. And you can see all the different great packages there. We've even got some sauna blankets and PMF mats. Again, incredible investments. You can read more about that. We've got a presentation there if you want to see more of me go through the studies. But I would say that people, when you watch an interview like this, you have the information you need. You can't really live vicariously through studies and other people's stories. They're great. They're amazing. We've shared those. Now it's time for you to see what happens for you. And I think a lot of people are used to living in fantasy land because we're used to movies and things like that. And you're like, oh, cool. Yeah, I just, that was amazing. But it's like, well, it's write your story, be the hero of your story, and make that happen for you, because it's not enough for me to learn about it happening to somebody else. It's enough. I need to have that result. I want that. I deserve that. And I really do think that the people that take action on these things are the people that believe that they deserve it. Other people that kind of are committed to staying with a story, like that their suffering is something that they've made as part of their identity. They can't move out of that. They hate it. They hate the pain they go through. They hate the suffering and the loss of abilities, but they can't break through the fact that that their identity isn't those things. Their identity is, I would say, a child of God, made in the image of God, and health and happiness is your birthright. It was given to you as a gift. It's part of who you are and what was given to you as a gift. And so then people that are so committed to that, they don't accept the status quo and accept all these negative things, then they're unwilling to live in that reality, and they're willing to do what it takes to make a difference. And they're the people that get the products and use them, right? Because you can get a product and not use it, because that's still the same program. It's like, you're not breaking through the program. Break through the program, use the things that will help you, and know that you're worth it. You deserve it. You deserve health. You deserve healing. You deserve transformation. And everyone is counting on you. People love you. There are people in your life that adore you. They don't want life without you, and they certainly don't want life without you, with all your full functions and your abilities, your ability to be present. And pain and ailments take people out of presence. That's what they do. So let's get rid of that. Let's snap out of it. Let's break the program.
Do it. Jonathan, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Dronetek. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. All right. We are done. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, man. Thanks for having me on. It was awesome.